Hey, welcome to We Got Gravy. Today we're gonna do some traditional style lasagna. I'm gonna make it with a bolognese. We're gonna get some of these veggies kind of grated up, and we're gonna show you how we cook the meats. We also roasted some garlic, right? So we're gonna use this oil to sear off these country style ribs that we got here. I always tell you guys about the deals we get at great value over at Walmart. $8.90. Threw these in the freezer for 2 days. Going to use them today. Loin country style ribs. These are going to make your sauce rich, delicious, incredible. Okay, so we're going to grate up some carrots. We're going to grate up half this onion. That's a really big onion, but it's a nice Vidalia. And yeah, let's get this underway. First thing we're going to do is get these ribs going in some of this oil. Okay. All right. So now we're going to get some of this garlic confit, and we're going to get some of this oil in our pot here. We're going to start here because we're going to build the entire sauce right in this guy, right? This is going to cook for about 2.5 hours. I don't know, that looks like maybe a tablespoon of this oil. That'll be plenty. Also, we're going to use a lean beef because we're not going to be straining any of the grease. That's why you want to use the lean beef. The pork and all the flavor from this bone and these ribs are going to just help flavor this sauce. So extra lean meat is what we're going to be using for the beef. Then we got some Italian sausage, and yeah, we're just gonna get this seared up real quick. We are not going to be seasoning these. These are gonna get plenty of season from the sauce. So we'll just get these laid in here. We're only gonna use 3, get these nice and brown. It's gonna be on a medium-high heat, and yeah, then we'll build from there. Just gonna go from there. Just gonna trim them up. I already took a peeler to these, took off the skin. We'll just cut off those ends. Kind of do it on both. I don't know how much this will take. We'll see how much this carrot gives us. But we want probably, I would say, a cup's worth of the carrots and about the same with the onion. These are going to cook down a lot, especially in the sauce. You won't even really see the carrots or the onions. They're pretty much just going to melt away in there. All right, let's give them a flip. It's been about 3 minutes. Get a little golden sear on these guys. All right, so we got our carrots. This is about where you want them. I'm gonna roughly run the knife through it because, like I said, we really want these to melt down. Okay. All right, so just same thing. Just gonna run it through the grater. Still got my carrots left over there. That doesn't matter. Now we got these nice and browned up. See on both sides there. Just gonna set it on the fat for a minute. Let that start to render down. This is all going to be just part of building this sauce. Get those ribs out of there. We're going to add some fresh cracked pepper. If I get that right. Some sea salt. Just in case you ever wonder, when they say that's a pinch right there. All right, we're just going to sweat these down. We don't want to caramelize. We just want to kind of get them translucent, real steamed up. And we're going to keep building from here. Now we're going to add some of this glorious garlic. That looks good. What's it going to hurt? All right, so at this point we're going to start adding our beef. So we're just going to do the garlic, onions, and the beef together right now. And the sausage. Get our sausage in there. There we go. Okay, we're almost there. It's been about 5 minutes. You can see we still got a little pink to the meat. You see everything's kind of just melding together good. We're just going to saute this for about another 3 to 4 minutes. Then we're going to start building this sauce. We'll just put it on simmer, let it cook for about 2 hours. Okay, so we're going to start building this now. We're going to go in with 1 nice big can of Cento tomato puree. We're going to do, this has got probably about a tablespoon left of the tomato paste. Get your tomato paste in there, get it all. This stuff is so delicious. Absolutely one of my favorites. Okay, so I'm going to go in with a cup of this beef broth first. I always go with the unsalted, that way we can adjust the salt. Some things are more salty, some things are less. All right, I filled this up to about there with water. We can get that water in there. Okay, we're adding some fresh basil. If it falls in, that's fine. We're gonna leave it on the sprig, easier to fall off later. We've got some set aside for the actual lasagna. So now we're just going to bring this up to temp and we're going to let it reduce. Like I said, it's going to cook for probably about 2.5 hours. We'll check it then, take a look at where it's at. Okay, we're going to add back our pork. Got those beautiful chops, those ribs, those country style ribs. We get those back in there. This is all going to get tore up and put in the lasagna and part of the meat sauce. Again, the traditional bolognese is always pork and ground beef. All right, traditional bolognese calls for 1 cup of milk. We're actually going to use some heavy cream that I have. This is the point that I'm going to add it in. We're starting to get thick, so I'm going to get that in there. Get this stirred around. I still haven't pulled the meat off the bones on the ribs, but it will be there shortly. I'm still let this simmer and still thicken up. Not there yet. We're still pretty liquidy. All right, now it's time to assemble lasagna. We got our bolognese done. This is what it looks like. This is about as thick as I wanted to go with this. This is going to spread out nice. You can see we got some of the rib chunks in there. We're going to just kind of tear those up. Most noodles call for about 10 to 12 minutes. I go on the low side, right? I go 10 because we want them, they're going to cook in the oven, right? And you don't want them, to get waterlogged because you have to cool them. After they're done on the stove boiling, we get them in cold water so that they're formable. Also, it's going to make it a little easier when they don't fit your dish perfect. You might have to tear a few pieces. That's why it's fine if there's some that are kind of tore or broke up. Traditional lasagna calls for a bechamel. We're going to use the Alfredo sauce that we have from last night's chicken Alfredo crazy puffs. A bechamel is just butter, flour, some seasoning, add some milk. You kind of get to a thick consistency just like the Alfredo is. So this is just going to be a little bit more flavor. Very common for Italians or Sicilians to use Alfredo in the dish. We got some mozzarella. We also have some provolone. And then our ricotta cheese. Now, this is a traditional sauce, right? A lot of people just go with the ricotta right into their dish. We're going to go more traditional style. We are going to add a couple of those beautiful garlic confit cloves that we have in olive oil. We'll say about that many. And then we're also going to add 2 egg yolks. I got some farm fresh eggs from my father-in-law when we were up there. So I'm going to add these and then we're just going to mix this up. And once we get that mixed up, we're going to start assembling this. This bolognese I made from scratch. This isn't on the internet. This is something I just made today for you guys. And we've already tried it. It's fantastic. Okay, so that's good there. Just get it on the bottom. You don't have to go too much, but you don't want to go too light. All right, after we do that, we're going to grab our noodles. As you can see, these noodles aren't fully fitting, so we're just going to fill in, right? So we're going to go down with another one and another one here. Now, you don't have to have them completely butt up against each other. It's fine to have a little bit of gap in there. And then if you're too long this way, you just tear it. And we'll use that extra piece for the next one. Once we go down with that, we're going to go ahead and do some of the ricotta cheese. Ricotta, however you prefer to say it. My family, well, I should say my mother and I, we absolutely love ricotta cheese, so we use a good portion. You use how much you like, or don't use any at all if you don't want any. You ain't gonna mess it up. We're just gonna keep building this, and like I said, we're just gonna duplicate this on the next couple layers. And then we'll be back to you. Okay, so after we do that, try to keep my hands clean here. We're gonna come in with just a little more of the sauce. You don't want to overdo this, right? Because you don't want it to be completely soupy, so be sparingly. I recommend making this sauce the day before and then letting it chill in the fridge. The flavors will get even richer and thicker, and then it'll be a little easier to manage. You can keep your sauce separate. Okay, after we do that, we're gonna go ahead and get a little bit of the bechamel and or the Alfredo. In this case, like I said, we did Alfredo. As you can see, it's nice and thick. We're gonna go in between right there, right? It's all going to get mixed together. It doesn't matter if you don't get it in between. It will be fine. Okay. And then those edges will fill in. So don't worry about the edges. The edges will definitely get their love as this whole thing starts getting heavier and starts smushing together. All right, after that, we're going to go down with a layer of cheese. Get that mozzarella on there. We do have some reserved basil that we're going to do on the second to top layer. All right, that's good. Again, you don't have to go too crazy because you're going to be building layers. Okay, one thing I wanted to show you, sorry my cat's meowing back here, is since this was the end that we did the tear on, our next layer we'll put the full ones here. See what I'm saying? So that the tear would be down at this end. That's just an important thing to do so that you're going to ensure that you're going to get nice solid pieces when this is done and you're getting ready to cut it. Okay, as you can see, we're close to the top. We're going to go ahead and do some of the basil now. This fresh basil is so delicious. Now this is really, really high. I recommend using one of like the, like metal kind of to-go tins kind of pans. If you're gonna go this high, because we are still going to add another layer to this. So we're gonna bake this on like a cookie sheet so that we're most definitely gonna have some overflow. And that way it doesn't destroy your oven. So we're on our last layer. We've staggered the broken pieces. We are now going to put this last layer on, hit it with our sauce. Again, little tears are fine. We're gonna make this top one 4, because we are down to our last one. And we'll just tear this guy off right here. A little big is fine. Ooh, we actually have one more piece, but that's fine. We'll just stick this little piece right there. Like I said, you're not gonna mess it up. Okay, last go with the ricotta. Go ahead and just repeat what you did in the beginning. Get these dollops on here. I see these chunks of that roasted garlic in this cheese. Oh, buddy. That stuff's incredible. Again, you make this yours. You decide how much of what you want. You can go more cheese, more meat, use different types of meats. The whole purpose of showing you the traditional way is so that you can kind of decide how you guys like it. So we're going to do the rest of this Alfredo we have here. It's kind of thickening up because it's been sitting. Just get that in any areas that we can. Again, traditionally it's a bechamel. You can look that up on Google and see how to make it. Super simple. Almost every restaurant that you see in New York or Chicago, or that are really known for good Italian food, they're 100% using a bechamel in their lasagna. And it's just how it's going to go. But the whole goal here is just to be able to make this at home. If you want to make fresh noodles, by all means, knock yourself out. I like to use the boil ones. They also have the oven ready. Those work fine too. Those come out great. This top layer, we're going to need plenty of cheese. So let me get a little bit more out of this bag. We're about out of cheese here, which is totally fine because this is going to be all melty and gooey. Okay, so last thing we're going to do is hit it with some Parmesan. You can use anything you'd like on the top of this. Reggiano, regular Parm. We're gonna go with that old Great Value Parmesan. Don't judge, we love it, and it's cheap. So we're gonna hit that with the Parm. Oh yeah, just like that. Okay, now we're gonna get this covered with some tinfoil, and we're gonna bake this for about 45 minutes, and then we're gonna pull off the top, the tinfoil cover, and then we're gonna darken up this cheese, and then we should be good to go. We'll see you guys shortly. Okay, we are fresh out of the oven. There's the timer going off because we're getting ready to make these garlic knots. We did the 45 minutes, and then we took the lid off, and we did 7 minutes just to make sure it was okay. We did an extra 3 with the top off, and then I went to broil just for a few, just to give that cheese a little bit of color. Now we're gonna throw these bad boys. These are at Walmart. These are $3.24, and the kids love them. You just bake them in the bag. Super easy, super delicious. I'll show you what we're about to be. And then you also want to let this rest. I just want to make that clear. You want to let this rest for at least 15 minutes before you cut into it. Otherwise, everything's just going to seep out. You're going to get flat noodles. All right, this is going to be the garlic butter that we put on the garlic knots. Do some garlic powder. And we're going to do some parsley flakes. And then we're going to add some Parmesan. we mix this all up, and then we're going to dump this right over the garlic knots. This stuff is delicious. All right, those should be coming out of the oven in a minute. All right, we're going to dump this garlic butter and Parmesan on these knots. Then we're just going to give them a quick toss. As you can see, our lasagna is still resting. Do not forget to rest it. Minimum of 10 to 15 minutes. Oh yeah, these things are great. Okay, then with a little parm. Perfecto. All right, guys, there it is. The homemade lasagna from We Got Gravy, just for you. Look at that cheesy, delicious, decadent. Hope you guys enjoy it. We'll see you in the next one.